we're going to build upon some concepts that I think is going to help Mario Lopez get ready for the No-Gi Worlds. He has incredible top game pressure, so I want to go over some passing concepts and then just go over some ideas of what we would do to finish from being on top.
All right.
Okay? We're doing a lot of research on guard passing is the 3 levels of distance in guard passing. Okay? And you have your high risk, your like middle level, and then your low risk. So to me, it's like opposite. Like low risk is the further distance, and then you have your mid-level distance, and you have your close level distance.
So you think the tighter you are, the riskier it is?
100%.
Okay.
You know, now, of course, once I'm like through, if I'm on top of you and you can't have like any guard established, then I don't count that as like guard passing anymore. Yeah, I know you have to still finish it, but like once you're like 75% through their guard,
Because
right?
I feel like once you get me here and you're on top of me, drowning me here,
Right, that's not guard passing anymore to me. Because at that point, like you've already accepted me being in that window.
I guess you're right.
Right? So for me, distance 1 or the furthest distance is where I can connect to you, but you can't reach my feet. So like here is good, right? Now that doesn't mean that I'm gonna get the pass, but like passing from the outside is more safe because you have a harder time connecting to me and being able to actually like throw a submission or attack my legs.
Okay.
So then I look at like the level 2, which is like knee to foot, right? So now no matter what, I can play within this window, and that's like one of the safest for me because your ability to capture my knee line is pretty low risk, but your ability to still wrestle up and connect to me is now increased.
Okay.
It's very hard for you to connect to me from like distance 1.
This is definitely the wrestle up distance for me.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but once I enter foot to knee line, I have to look at certain scenarios and be safe there. And then the next one is knee to hip, which to me like is my strongest ability, like smash and pass to put you on your back to actually finish the pass. But it's also the highest risk for you to actually capture my knee line, for you to actually set in a good guard and offset my base and my posture.
Okay, that makes sense.
So that's kind of like the 3 different levels that I look at. So for the first one, like outside passing or distance passing, I have to focus on, we think about like guard passing in the sense that we come forward a lot and we come backwards a lot. We don't look at it from going side to side, and we don't look at it from actually sidestepping around. So the first couple different levels is like, I want to test my opponent's like recovery and how they actually play their guard from the outside, and then just kind of like get a feel for them to see where their weaknesses are. And different triggers. So like the game that I would do for this outside concept is like 3 minutes of you just trying to put your feet on me, 3 minutes of you trying to like frame me, and if you see any type of way that you could like connect a guard or entangle a leg, then do that, and then you win. And then besides that, like all I'm trying to do is come around and get like a north-south type position or side control or back exposure.
Okay.
And a couple different ways that I'm going to look at that is like the traditional ways, right? Like we're here and we're here.
And you always want to go across like that?
I don't always want to go across like that. I want to go here and I want to go here, right? So here, right? Here.
Yeah, that's that Toriano like that is.
Yeah, so I want to look at some of those. This one, right? And this one.
Yeah, this is
the only
every time you get this, I know what's coming.
The only negative to this is if I'm lazy and you shoot an armbar, right?
Yeah.
So like there's a lot of times that when we do any of these passes, you have to know the risk. It doesn't mean that they're good or bad. Like it's just like I can't sit here and let you glue that arm and then armbar me. Where here, it's kind of hard to do that.
For sure.
You know?
Much more.
So there's just different things that we look at and how we pass. So we do the traditional like Toriano, which is I'm going to be here, okay? We're going to hand fight. We're going to be looking. I want to make sure that my feet are staying behind your feet. I don't want to allow you to have a connection where you can pull me in, and I don't want you to be able to have a connection where you can reach out and grab me, right? Like now I'm going to be playing, now I'm going into mid-level passing, but I'm going in because you're bringing me in there instead of I'm going into it the way I want to go into it.
Right.
So that's kind of the way that I look at it. The first thing is this one, right? Pushing them back and then getting here, right? Where I can start to actually come off.
Do you have to grab like here on the shins instead of down on like the shoelaces? Yeah.
Well, the problem, this makes me feel like I'm kind of like off center somewhat.
Okay.
And it makes me harder to move. And the more you move, the more it actually controls my posture.
Moves you around too?
Where here doesn't do that so much. Right? Like I don't fall over just because you move your legs. Even if you kick your legs backwards or wherever, like it doesn't offset me so much. But down here, right? Now when you move it, like it allows you to kind of have openings and windows. So I just want to look at those things and think about it.
Okay.
So the other thing too is I want to think about sidestepping, right? If you watch Isaac Mitchell, right? A lot of his passing is just literally like sidestepping, constantly like, and I don't think we do that movement enough. I think a lot of our movement is like forwards, mostly forward, backward.
Instead of around.
And I think also we don't do side to side movement. I do a lot of more side to side movement on mid and close range passing, and I want to do a lot more circle passing on the outside.
I feel like for some reason whenever I'm going against bigger people, I always try to outside pass more.
I think it's smart because, well, it's you can't allow them to stabilize your weight because they can manipulate your weight a lot better than.
Yeah. I was looking for that better angle in to start inside passing from.
The only negative to that is, the only negative to outside passing is you still have to control your opponent's ability to not come up.
Yeah.
You know, like two different reasons. One, like, do you want that guy getting back up and being able to wrestle you again? If you're winning by 2 or you're winning by an advantage and that guy gets up to his feet and you don't know his wrestling, that's dangerous. 2, can he sit up and shoot on you?
For me, it's always really hard too to combine like wrestling and getting the takedown, but then still not automatically going into like an inside passing position. Like getting the takedown, but still being up and distanced enough to be on.
Like to exit?
Right, yeah. Because you almost have to once you get the takedown.
I think a lot of people don't. I think a lot of people in Jiu-Jitsu always are looking to go forward.
Yeah.
And you have to learn how to go backwards, but not let your opponent get up.
That's the key. Because you work so hard to get the takedown, the last thing you want to do is let him back up, usually.
Yeah, I think you've got to have that balance between the 3 levels of distance and then know the variables of each play in there.
I mean, I guess if you're confident enough in your wrestling, maybe that you want to do that. Just
keep
letting him up and get the 2 again.
100%. I mean, if you're somebody like Pixley or somebody that's wrestled for his whole life, then yeah, you don't care about it. But like if you're a player that you might be equal with that guy on the field in wrestling, like the last thing you want to do is take that chance of letting that person back up. Definitely here, sidestepping, right? Constantly circling. So here, right? Constantly sidestepping.
I think especially in no-gi, this stuff works good because in the gi sometimes they'll grab me and like lasso me and something unconscious, but this works so good in no-gi.
Constantly sidestepping. The one thing that I really like when I watch Isaac is that like he's so good at starting this way and then coming
immediately going the other way.
The other way, yeah, like faking.
Yeah, that's good.
So I don't think we do that enough. Commit to this side, commit to this side, throw. Just getting those windows and then like knowing when to go forward or go backwards. Because I see a lot of people grab a leg and throw it and think that's going to be good enough
desperate move
to get on the inside.
Yeah. People try that on me all the time to pass my guard, and I can always get a knee in the way.
So like sometimes now what I've been doing my outside passing is like faking the entry. And what I mean by that like is I'll come and I'll pass, right? And then I'll be like putting the pressure down. and then I'll actually like back up, and then I'll go again.
Okay.
Like, I almost take the pressure off where it actually relaxes the person.
Yeah, catch them off guard.
Because they feel like, oh, okay, he's gonna back up and go somewhere else. And then I actually commit to the pass. I've noticed that a lot lately.
Yeah, I like that.
These are just some of our variables of outside passing. Right? So, you know, just getting triggers and seeing what your opponent does. Make sense?
Yeah, that leg pummel, I mean.
So, just some of those concepts for passing from the outside. I think passing from the outside, I look at it like this. Like, if I'm winning by an advantage, if I'm winning by 2 points, there's no point for me to take any risk on going on the inside and allowing my opponent to connect to me and have a chance of scoring points on me or getting a submission on me if I don't have to.
Yeah, especially if you're already winning.
It's a game, and you could say whatever you want. You could say, well, I want to be a winner, I want to sub everyone, and that's great. I mean, I want that too.
Yeah, I want to do that too.
But
I also want to win.
yeah, but at the end of the day, like, one person takes the medal home,
Right.
and it's the person that plays the game the smartest. A lot of times people are like, oh, the finals are boring. Well, the finals are boring because both players are playing a game. They're not playing to go out and kill each other anymore. They're playing to get that right score.
Yeah.
And you can hate the guy, but he still gets the medal at the end of the day.
Yep.
So just look at some of those concepts, and then let's dive into the next concept. Keeping my leg line right between his knee and his foot. So it can be in here, it can be out here.
You like to push it to the outside like that?
Well, what do you mean?
Here instead of here?
I don't necessarily care, right? I don't care like where I'm at.
When you push it out here, are you looking to come into headquarters?
Yeah, so like all I'm saying for this setup is like when I enter the mid-level point, right? I just want to be thinking about my knee line being in between here.
Okay.
So now when I actually reach that, because what I don't want is this, you know? What I don't want is your knee line being behind my knee line.
I get it. Yeah.
So not saying that that's the end of the world, because I have a lot of good passing from there. With butterflies, right? That is one area where I can actually manipulate you, just like you can manipulate me, but it takes...
Yeah, we're connected.
It's important, right, that I don't let you like feed your leg through or bring my leg to you. So, again, like, knowing how to do that and knowing how to keep the pressure is important.
And just like feeling that pressure of you pushing in, it's like I have to engage my legs to counter it, and it's exhausting.
Yeah, like that's what
So
I'm
sitting here pushing against you, right? All this effort, it's exhausting.
I don't think a lot of people think about how to actually sit and base and control that. I think a lot of people just stand here and then their legs get bowed out.
You're so good at putting that pressure on. Yeah. It's
So
always exhausting.
here,
Nothing's
right,
free. There's no rest.
here, staying tight, making sure like elbow, knee, keeping that tight. Like just constantly moving on the outside. Now I'm getting like close to that next.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't mean, like for me, when I start getting close, instead of going, now I can't go forward or backwards.
I feel the threat this way.
Yeah. But I also can't go forward or backwards now, right? I gotta be careful going forward or backwards.
Yeah.
So for me now that I'm here, instead of circling or going forward or backwards, now I'm thinking about going side to side. Like once I hit like this level here, now it's like I'm seeing
The leg drag this way and the knee slice this way.
here,
Yeah.
right? Like I want to get your knees collapsed to the mat.
That's how you beat me every time.
Like once I get on that inside point, like that's all I want to do is think about side to side instead of forward backwards. Because the forward backwards will happen once you defeat the legs. But I think just it's crazy to think about trying to defeat the legs going forward here. right? I really like to have the hand on the hip, elbow to knee. This helps a lot, keeping the heels to the butt. So, just constantly keeping your feet off of me is a big one. Like not letting you get your feet on me, keeping your hands, keeping your feet off me, framing. Now, side to side, right? Back up.
Yeah, now I'm done. I mean, you're so close to passing here, I feel like.
I like posting the hand on the hip so much, and then my elbow blocking and activating that hip flexor.
And even if I come out to go around it, it's like, this is bad now. Now you've gained all this space back, and I'll never get it back.
Yeah. So a big thing that I don't think a lot of people do is I'm taking the elbow here and trying to make you actually activate that muscle as much as you can. So I'm here pushing this down, clubbing, clubbing. I do a lot of trapping too lately with the hand, here, but making it where like you can't just get a guard on me.
Yeah, it's like impossible. I have to go all the way around or through or something. It's gonna take a big effort.
And then, again, staple.
It's kind of like, I heard someone describe it like this one time. You always want to pass like inch by inch, right? Take that inch, get to the next checkpoint, slowly inch by inch. There's like a saying, like, you have to be patient enough to wait for the mud to settle. I don't remember who said that, but it's like, you have to be patient enough to wait in those scenarios to find the clarity to like move forward again.
Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, once you get inside, it's super dangerous because I have to keep my feet away from your hip line. Like, I can't allow, like, you were getting this for a while, you know, like.
Not anymore.
Well, there's a while where for sure, like, you were getting that angle, and that was making it super hard to deal with.
Yeah.
I feel like lately I've been stopping it.
Yeah, you stop everything. I try it anymore.
Feet pushing in when you're hooking, like being able to pull
You're
your
saying
neck.
feet pushing in, but it's almost like your knees.
Yeah, I'm pushing your feet in.
Okay, I get what you're saying.
So I want to keep your heels to your butt.
Yeah.
I want to keep framing.
This is when I feel that coming, that's when it's like, now I have to react. It's like emergency mode almost. I gotta get this out of the way somehow. And then even when I do, it's like I overcommit. Yeah. I always feel like I have to give you a big reaction to get those spaces back, and then you capitalize on it.
Because here's the thing, if you don't make a connection, right? Like I can be here and doing all this, but if you don't make a connection, like I'm just gonna go to the outside.
Yeah. And then even when you do, it's like you're still a second away from knee slicing here. Even if I'm framing all of this against it, I feel like it doesn't
I really like this pinning the hand. Like to me, this has been so strong. Andy's got so good at this when he pins his hand and then controls his hip. This is brutal.
Yeah.
Is this fun? If I get my leg stuck, right, what are you looking for now?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm trying to like almost pull my hips up to your leg. Yeah. Yeah.
That's the big thing too that I don't think a lot of people think about is the two areas that I want to look at with my hands, besides hand fighting and deflecting, is my hands on your back of your legs or my hands on your hips. Because if you can't engage your hips, you can't really shoot submissions on me or be able to like come up and
Yeah, I remember you drilling that in my head for a while. When you push here, it's like there's almost no submission threat.
yeah.
So I have to extend to do
So
anything.
I'm trying to look to put my hands on the back of your thighs. Even here, like, yeah, you have my hands wrapped up, but what are you going to do with it?
Yeah.
You
Hold
know?
on.
Side step, side step.
Yeah.
Just looking at that really makes it hard for you to use your hips. Like if I can just keep controlling your hips, maybe that would be a good game to look at. right? Like just seeing if the person can use their hips.
Me?
Yeah. You know, like how could you engage your hips or move your hips to get to a guard or...
Yeah.
And I just have to keep my hands on the back of your legs or on your hips.
Yeah, that's good.
Right? So just move around. The omoplatas are good, but I feel like you gotta, if you keep your posture right, it's really hard.
I feel like if you're not good at them, you just get smashed off of it.
A lot of times I've been using this knee behind the thigh
That's
too
it,
lately.
yeah.
I've just kind of tried to keep my knees engaging the
Stops
thigh.
me from being able to like lift you, I feel like.
Yeah.
I'm like here, this feels so bad.
Because I'm going here.
I'm so close to pass. Yeah. But I can't, I couldn't get that ground back.
Yeah.
Because of those posts.
So like once I finally kind of like play with that mid-level and staying in there side to side, once I get the knees collapsed, then it's over the top, circling. But once I get on the inside, that's when I start really, once I get where I'm actually on the inside and I can use my body, I want to keep, right now your knee is in line with your hip, everything feels fairly comfortable.
Yeah.
But I just want to constantly put my body where this muscle
Yeah, it's extended.
is extended. And now for you to bring back to safety, it's going to take you a lot. It's going to cost you a lot of shrimping to create space, or it's going to cost you a lot of force of your muscle group. For me, it's like blocking here, it's blocking here, it's putting my weight down on you.
Yes, this is what's exhausting.
And once I get to that last level, I can't have my opponent have a guard, and I want them to just essentially carry my weight. And how that kind of looks is pretty simple. Like I come in, and now it's like I put you in a place where you can carry my weight, and you can't re-guard. So maybe my hands are blocking the biceps, the shoulders. I don't want to be clubbing the head. Because the problem with I feel like you club the head is you get these angles, where if I'm just here,
Yeah, it's a lot harder.
right, like I'm just
Exhausting.
sinking and
Yeah,
sinking.
and now the knees came through the gap there.
So no matter what, like if he tries to get his feet on me, I'm just blocking them. I'm just trying to use my elbows, my hands, keeping the chest flat, putting myself constantly weighing over the top and keeping my feet away. But getting the ability, like my knees are blocking the back of his thighs. I'm trying to keep the hips away from him constantly. I try to hook this leg and not let him have it back. Like I don't think a lot of people, I don't think a lot of people do this where
And
they're
it's kind of uncomfortable too, to be honest.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel good to sit here and let you clamp on
I
that.
feel like I have like a good pinch where people can't just get that leg back out.
And your balance is always pretty good too. Like it's never easy to knock you over.
Just constantly like coming in and putting your weight on. Pinching. But what do you think of those concepts?
I think they're all really good. Tough to master.
Yeah, for sure. I think how many hours have we put in just each one of those until I got more and more comfortable?
Yeah, now you're unbeatable. I can't
I
do
don't know
anything
if I'm
to you.
unbeatable.
Well, to me, I can't beat you anymore. Not in those positions. At
But
least.
you know, I think it helps a lot not letting your legs get tangled up. That makes a huge difference. Not having to even play into the leg lock game. Or, you know, I mean, I know I'm purple belt, there's only straight ankle locks. But
all
like,
the sweeps and stuff are still there. Though.
yeah, like
All
I
the
don't
entanglement.
want to deal with 50-50. I don't want to deal with having somebody connect to my leg and and now have to fight that. So like the best thing that I think you can do is keep people's feet off you, keep people's hands off you, right? When you're on the inside, and just keep like shifting your shoulders, blocking, framing, knocking things off, and just kind of like sinking more
Yeah,
and more on them.
you're always putting that weight on me to where if I don't address it, you're gonna take that space away from me.
I think so many guard passers stabilize their own weight that they don't actually make people carry their weight, and then
That's
they
a big
get tired.
thing. That's a big thing I'm trying to get better at, is not carrying it myself, making them.
Yeah, I realized that once I started making my opponent carry my weight, like they got more tired and I got less tired.
And it's tough. It's tough to know like how to do that. Like at least for me, like that's what I'm trying to learn now. And it just feels so difficult to know like how to put them in a scenario where they're gonna carry me instead of being able to explode and get around.
I think you have to do it and just get knocked over a bunch. Like that's what I did. Like I
It's
just
the only way to do it.
got swept 1,000 times, and then it was like, okay, well, it's because I had my weight distribution this way or that way, or oh, I allowed them to control this arm and I can't do that. I got.
And I think that's a big part of it. It's not only just like learning how to put your weight on them. It's like how to stifle all their ability to like do other things too. Like you were saying, put my feet on me or control my legs, always pushing them together. And all that stuff together is kind of what makes it work, I feel.
We'll come in here, we'll circle, right? Collapse, knee cut, side, side.
This elbow's always blocking me.
So,
That was nice.
but constantly having that elbow here flaring,
Yeah.
right, moving in. From half guard, right? Like anytime I have half guard, again, I'm still trying to always like post on this hip, and I'm trying to block them from going under my legs or doing anything. But like all I want to do is get their hips to the other side by pushing this. I'm constantly just here. I'm trying to squeeze this leg so that you can't just pull it out.
Right.
No matter what, like, because I don't want you to freely use this leg and shoot a triangle or shoot an arm bar.
Right.
Then I'm constantly like, hand on the hip, elbow flaring out, any of this, so that I'm here pushing. I don't think a lot of
Do
people.
you worry about this at all in no-gi, then coming over?
Not a whole lot. I mean, it's not the end of the world for me, especially if you can't go under my legs or anything.
Yeah.
So, but if you do it, right, then for me it's like smashing down over the top. A lot of people don't windshield wiper enough, and then it's.
Nope.
You're good. Makes sense?
Yeah.
But now that we pass, boom, we come down, come across. Even if you like lift this leg up, all I want to do is take the knee. Turn it down.
Makes it so heavy.
Right? Like, I think a lot of times,
That's a really good detail.
like if you lift, like, right? Connect to here. Now, what I want to think about doing is, I want to think about using my hips to start moving these hips out of the way. Climb up, and then using my knee to frame. I'm constantly framing here and here so that he can't regard or use his legs to actually like regard on me. But when I'm doing this, I'm here blocking, making sure that he can't slide a leg back in, regard on me, get his feet on me. So I'm kind of like doing a modified knee and belly version.
Would you get points here if you just put your leg out?
Yes. If I put my leg out, I'm going to get points for 3 seconds.
Do you have to disconnect here? Can you be tight with the leg out?
I can be down here.
Okay.
Yep. I just got to make sure you don't like launch me over there. So like I can be here, right? I can still be making you carry. If I want to stop you from grabbing my leg when I'm low like that, I I just have to block at your cheekbone. I can't block at your neck because you'll still have strength to pull my leg in. But if I block at your cheekbone,
Yeah, that stops it.
so I just have to like actively make sure that anytime I'm blocking them from trying to grab my leg and pull it in, that I don't block at the neck, because that's not going to be efficient. People can still kind of like strength through it and use their upper body. But right where I'm blocking, always like right at the lower part of the ear, here, posting actively, making sure, because it makes it so much harder for him to actually pull that in. So that's kind of like what I'm always looking for. Now, once I kind of like get in, I have this arm trapped, and I club this head. Now, what I'm doing is I'm actively posting. I'm not posting at the armpit where he can overhook my arm and then roll me and do all these things. Like, I'm posting always at his elbow. I'm always basically trying to manipulate the elbow where it's going to be the weakest and make sure that like my shoulder is actively working so that he can't just swim his arm in and get the underhook. Because I don't want that. If I get that, then it's like I'm posting back down and then I'm reposting here to try to be active and not letting him get his arm back free. Okay? So like once I do that, then all I'm trying to do is just constantly walk his elbow to his ear. And as I do that, like I'm kicking this leg over and then connecting his arm to his ear and Xing my arms here. So once I get here, like in mount, you can't get hit for stalling. So there's no point for me to rush this process. So like sometimes I'm not just going to go for the submission here. I mean, if there's 4 minutes left on the clock or 3 minutes left on the clock, I don't want to rush this position and then lose it and have a chance of this guy being on top of me and smashing me. I'll be here framing, blocking chest to chest, and then depending on how much time's left, I will start to work on this arm over here and getting both arms up above their head and kind of deciding how to like tire them out, wear them out, let them use their strength, etc.
I mean, if they try to bridge 4 or 5 times to escape here and you stuff them, they're going to be pretty dead.
Yeah, that's a big thing that I like to think about is like the timing and not making sure that I'm like going for a submission when my opponent is timing me going for a submission and then catching me off guard. Once I do this though, once I get that head and the arm connected, even if he's like up here, like this framing, all I'm doing is getting it to the point where my neck can block at his elbow now. Once I can block at his elbow and I can grab the back of this, the big thing that I see a lot of people with the arm triangle mess up is that the shoulder is too high. My shoulder's up here and his neck's down here. You have to figure out how to get your shoulder on that side of his neck. So the same side that you're clubbing, you need to get your shoulder down there. If I just go here, it's not to say like I can't get it by squeezing, but the side part is like you don't want to do something unless you got 10 seconds left and you're going to win the match. That's going to cost you possibly losing the match. I'm always like analyzing high risk, low risk positions and submissions and the timing of where it's taking place so that I'm not sitting there and it's going to cost me a match. Once I get up here and I cut this across, what I want to think about doing is like I want to pull Brandon up and I want to shoot my arm through and I want to gable grip my hands or butterfly grip. But what I want is my arm to be going across the back of his spine, okay? And once I have that, it shifts my shoulder backwards. And now what I want to do is I want to take my head and I want to put it onto the mat and drive it up. And the cool thing about it is I don't have to like, sometimes really flexible people, whatever it is, in a scramble in the match, I have to like step off to the side, flatten myself out, get my shoulder more into it and drive my head up. But the really cool thing about doing this, where I like pull them up to me and then I go to the butterfly grip and the elbow here, is like I can feel my shoulder and my chest start to really connect to my opponent. And then I can start to slide down here and then I can start to drive up and it's so much pressure.
It's that pushing in and down with the shoulders.
Yeah, it's like I'm pulling them up to me and I'm using my chest to smother them and I'm using my shoulder to really put that pressure in there. And like that angle, 9 times out of 10, I get people to crack there. Yeah. But even if they get out of it, like it takes so much exhaustion out of them.
For sure. Something else I do sometimes, I don't know if this is something anyone else would ever want to do. But
When I'm in full mount, if I'm having trouble getting under the elbows to start walking them up, it's like I start going for like Ezekiel chokes to get them to frame up a little bit, and then I can get under the arm.
Yeah, that's good.
Sometimes things like that help me whenever I'm kind of stuck there.
And the only other thing that I want to say in this video is when you don't get the submission, you need to make sure that you have your next plan. So the worst thing to have happen is to go for a submission and then you lose that submission, and then you also have to start backtracking because you lost a position or you lost, and now like they are hungry coming after you. The greatest thing is to like lose a submission, but then like still get a good position out of it, because then mentally it keeps that person kind of broken.
That's why I love that Ezekiel head and arm choke combo, because you don't give up the position at all.
With the head and arm choke, right? A lot of times, whatever the case is, he'll be driving this elbow back into me, even if I'm on the side, and he'll be coming here on the side here. And if I'm being lazy here, he's gonna start coming out of my back. So like I have to look at it from a couple different point of views. Like, how am I gonna stop him from coming out of my back? And that's like stepping back up to here to put it flat, right? So that I can start working under and then coming back into side control. Maybe it's like he just escaped and now I'm circling back around, and I can either let him go to turtle and chase the back, or I can catch this arm and I can pull him back and keep him flat on his back. Sometimes I don't want to let people go to turtle. Sometimes I want to keep them flat on their back, because I know from there they're a little bit more helpless than allowing them to build up to a base and then roll under me or get back up. All right, well, hopefully some of those concepts help.
Good luck.